The Santiago Bernabéu tonight will feel like the country's most scrutinised living room, a place where history and expectation crowd the pitch, and nowhere will that pressure be sharper than on Xabi Alonso. Brought back into the white shirt's managerial orbit with a mixture of reverence and enormous expectation. Alonso arrives with the kind of resume that demands patience, but he does not get the luxury of time in his very first league outing. The calendar and misfortune have handed him an immediate trial by fire. Real Madrid's season opener at home is not simply a match, it's a public exam of whether Alonso's ideas can withstand absence and panic. The facts are stark and unavoidable. 4 key players, Jude Bellingham, Eduardo Camavinga, Ferland Mendy and Endrick, are unavailable through injury. And Antonio Rudiger begins the campaign carrying a suspension, leaving gaps across midfield. Defence and up front that cannot be filled by reputation alone. Reads like a tactical dossier of missing options. A coach who planned to build a spine around those names must now improvise a spine out of alternatives, youth and temperament. Against that backdrop, Barcelona's weekend statement, a convincing 3-0 win in Mallorca, did more than give their fans a happy night. It shifted the narrative and raised the bar for everyone else in Spain. That result will be in every journalist's opener, in the rivals' mouths and in the Bernabeu's expectations. If Barcelona can make a loud, clean start, Madrid's response cannot be timid. So what changes? Where once Alonso might have expected to orchestrate midfield control around Bellingham's forward energy and Camavinga's range. Tonight, he must choose balance over ideal patterns. He must pick players whose chemistry and grit can withstand early pressure. The left flank misses Mendy's recovery and surge, a factor that reshapes overlapping runs and outlet options. Endrick's absence removes a young focal point in attack and forces a more conservative forward setup or greater reliance on rotation from the bench. Defensively, Rudiger's suspension is not just a name missing from a list. It robs the backline of a commanding presence and forces a rethink of positionings against Osasuna's compact, aggressive approach. These are not theoretical problems. They are immediate puzzle pieces Alonso must slot into place before the stadium expects something resembling a finished plan. Alonso's message so far has been calm, measured insistence that bigger projects require patience, and that tone is rhetorically right. But rhetoric does not keep the crowd quiet when the opposing coach smells blood. The Bernabeu crowd, conditioned by decades of success and a culture that prizes dominance, may accept a tactical explanation only if they see effort, identity and courage on the pitch. For Alonso, tonight is about showing a clear idea, even if the personnel are patched. It is about a team that looks organised in pressing, decisive in transitions, and brave enough to attack without its marquee names. If the team can display those traits, the season's narrative can be softened. Absence becomes context, not catastrophe. If they do not, an early stumble will be magnified into a crisis of confidence that opponents and media will exploit. Reuters and other outlets have already recorded Alonso promising performance over platitudes as he prepares for his league bow. Words that will be measured against tonight's 11 and the scoreboard. Tactically, watch for how Alonso rebuilds the midfield's engine. Will he ask a defensive midfielder to step up as a carrier of tempo? Or will he compress lines and lean on wide overloads to create space for a more conservative forward? Who will emerge as the emotional leader when the stadium roars? Those micro decisions, a shifted fullback, a dropped striker, an early substitution, will tell us more about Alonso's blueprint than any pre-season soundbite. The young players and bench options who now have a chance will be tested not just technically but emotionally. Their response to early pressure will be as revealing as any transfer window business. This match will also set the tone in a league that rarely forgives early complacency. Barcelona's early statement means the eyes of Spain will be on Madrid tonight in a way that compounds ordinary expectations. For Alonso, survival is not simply avoiding defeat. It's about claiming enough character and coherence for the crowd to believe the rebuild is under control. Win and a shaky 11 becomes a story of resilience. Lose and the headlines will question whether a new era slips back into instability. The first whistle will be more than a signal to play. It will be a ledger entry for a season that, for better or worse, begins tonight under extraordinary scrutiny.